Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Colorado Writers Coalition. I'm Bernadette Marie, and I'm here to present a workshop on time management. I'm going to pop in from time to time with my video. For now, I'm going to close that down, and we'll get started. As an international best-selling author, publisher, business owner, and mother of 5 sons, I have learned the art of juggling time and managing tasks. Let me share some of my tips with you. First of all, why am I qualified to teach this workshop? My 40 titles have been written while managing my family of 7, 5 boys in hockey, choir, theater, and with jobs. I run a publishing house with 21 authors whom I have contracted. I run our business of 5 car washes with my husband. I rep for 3 other companies. I run my own social media and promotional work for my author brand. I make time for me and the things I love to do. And one of those things is managing time. The objectives of this workshop is to introduce you to the numerous methods of time management and to give you permission to interchange them as you see fit to manage your time. I will introduce you to the 168 plotting method, blocking, list making, priority of tasks, and discuss the obsession over planners. I'm also going to show you a fun way to get tasks done even when you're not feeling motivated. Let's check out our 168. What is our 168? 168 represents the number of hours you have in an entire week, 7 days, 24 hours. And why is this important to take into consideration? One of the biggest lies we tell ourselves is that we don't have enough time. But when we look at how we're really filling our 168 hours, you will be shocked to find that you have plenty of time for everything you want to accomplish. Do this every week. Every week will be different for you. And after you do this for a while, you'll learn some patterns. Maybe you work out more and sleep less, or vice versa may be the case. So what items do we include in our 168? Well, we start with the basics. Let's start with how many hours you're going to sleep, shower, and eat. These are daily tasks, and they take time, so we need to account for them. How many hours are you planning on working at your job? First of all, is your job outside the home? Is it inside the home? Are you going to have some commute time? Do you have other time during your day when you're commuting between home and anywhere? Let's say taking kids to school or to practices. How much time is included there? How many hours will you commit to exercise, dinner with friends, shopping, TV watching, etc.? How many hours will you commit to writing, reading, researching, and promoting? Add items that are important to your life, like church, family events, sporting events, rehearsals, etc. Some items can be combined. For example, family time can be combined with exercise. You can make your family exercise with you. You can't really make them do that. But if you can combine that, then you are doing more than one thing in that hour. Lunch and time with friends. Computer work while the kids are at practice. Reading while they're at the park. This is what it looks like to plot out your 168. I start with a basic spreadsheet. It has 168 of the hours in it, marked between the 7 days. I add a place down here for my commitments that I want to make sure I put in there, such as meetings or performances or events. Down here, I'm going to put my goals. What goals do I want to achieve in the 168 hours that I am given? Then, when I fill it out, this is what it looks like. You'll see I've added in 8 hours a day for sleep. This is my optimal. Do I always make that? No, but I try really hard. Usually I only sleep 6 hours, but I count this in there as getting ready for bed and all the goofing around I do getting to bed. I add in an hour each day for working out. I only work out 30 minutes. Those are how long the videos are that I do. But there's setup, there's getting ready, and there's pushing play. I get ready every day, which encompasses taking a shower, brushing my teeth, and getting dressed. I have breakfast every day, and you'll see over here where I've made some little marks. These are important days to me because I spend those mornings having breakfast with my mom. I've added in my lunch. I've added in my dinner, and you'll see, once again, I have dinner with my family. Every 2 weeks, I have a Zoom call with my friends, and this is super important to me to connect with the people that I love outside my home. And I make sure to be there, and I block that time out. Now, to be honest, this could be a little longer. I work outside of my home 3 days a week, and these are my office hours outside of my home. I have office hours inside of my home as well. These are differentiated by the tasks that need to be done. When I'm outside the home, I am working on publishing and I am working on our car wash business. When I'm inside the home, I am working on the other 3 businesses I rep. I'm promoting my branding and my author base. On Fridays, I set time out to go sew with my mother. And you'll see that I do an hour a day where I work on my current work in progress. And this is usually set up by word count, but I give myself ample time to get to that word count every day. Now, one of the things I found out, and I'm sure many of you who have children see this happen in your life as well, you're busy doing things, and I'm never a TV watcher, but I'm always doing something. And then I realize everybody else is convened somewhere together or doing something, and I'm not part of that because I didn't choose to be part of it because I'm thinking I don't have any time. So I started marking in here time for TV, and that's what I call it. What this really is time for me to sit down with my family and be present where they are at that moment. And this is equally as important as these office hours. When I add up all of my days, 168 hours, I have 34 hours that are unaccounted for. 34 hours that I can add another hour to work on my book. I could add another hour to go take a walk, maybe with my family, something like that. So look how that's a full-time job that I have time left over. I've added my commitments, my office hours, my workout hours, my video chat on Tuesday, my breakfast with mom. My goals are to make sure I work out every day, and I'm working on yoga certification. I have plenty of time to find those 5 hours to get in there. So how much time? By plotting out my 168, I find out I have 34 hours this week that aren't accounted for. Now, we don't want to schedule out every moment of our lives, but imagine what you could do with 30 extra hours. You could add a few hours to your writing time, like I mentioned. You could read a few more books, and you could clean that room you say you never have time for. And like I said, you could get your yoga certification. I'm going to pop back in here for just a moment. I was introduced to 168 probably 10 years ago, and I'm going to tell you it changed my life. I've shared it with numerous friends, and I have heard from them how it changed their life as well. So let me tell you a little bit of background. My dad worked 10 to 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. And there's no exaggeration in there. The man was just all the time at work and running his business. And that was important to him. And growing up, it became important to me. I opened my first business when I was 20 years old. And I had my first baby when I was 25. And it was very, very clear to me that if I didn't book time in for my family, I'd keep working. And those children were super duper important to me. Even when I was a stay-at-home mom, I was still doing a billion things. By the time I was pregnant with twins, I was opening another business because I felt like I had to be doing something all the time. But I had no control over my schedule and my time management. A few years later, I met a man and his family during martial arts training where I'm a second-degree black belt, and so is this family. This man traveled all the time, worked all the time from home, and still made amazing strides to spend quality time with his family and include them in everything. And what he did was use this 168 method to make sure he accounted for all of that and learned to combine his fitness with his family, his love of doing other things with his family, including all of his friends. And these were the specific days that he worked and how hard he worked. And he made sure to work as hard as he played. And that became a life-changing thing to me. So if 168 works for you, which I hope it does, I hope it'll change your life too. But I wanted to give you that little bit of personal story because I think that accounting for all those hours and all the things that you want to do is huge. So a huge shout out to James. Thanks for teaching me this. So I want to pop back out. So let's move on to our next topic. Let's look at our options for time management. Now, everyone is different. We're creative and analytical. Some of us need visuals. Some of us need a scrap piece of paper with a list. Let's look at the many ways we can use schedules, books, calendars, and lists to help us be more productive. The key here is to remember that it's okay to use many methods and change according to how your life is right now. So let's look at planners. If you are visual, you might do well with a planner. Add some stickers, some color to enhance it and make it something you look forward to working on every day. You're going to want to pick it up every day. You're going to want it to be pretty or delightful to the eyes. You can find planners that are suitable for certain activities, such as publishing, fitness, housekeeping, etc. You can also find printable planners that you can customize. All you have to do is go on Google or Pinterest and see the many, many, many ways you can use a planner. And you can see how people can get horribly obsessive over a planner. So be aware of your personality types. You might want to work with a planner for a while to see if it works for you. You might need more than one planner depending on how you break down your days in your 168. Remember, my 168 had a lot of office time specifically to certain businesses. It had home office time specifically for certain businesses. So perhaps a publishing planner would work well for me, keeping those tasks in order. And one for my car wash business would be good for me to keep those tasks in order, etc. Now, remember that you can always change these out. Digital planners are awesome. Digital planners are built into all of our devices and often sync together. This helps us keep our schedule up to date no matter where we scheduled an event, either in our car or at our desk. Digital planners can also hook to other members of your family, and their items can be added and then will sync with yours. Often using a digital calendar for long-term planning and then writing down your immediate productivity points works well together. I use my digital planner for everything, and especially those long-term things. In my publishing house, and as many of you will know, publishing takes a long time. So I have all of the tasks in when they need to be done, when they need to be due, and I can see those long-term, but I don't have to focus on that every single day. So what I do is once a week, which I didn't show you in my 168, but I always plot out an hour a week just for planning. And I go in and I print out the weekend that's coming up so that I have a piece of paper that I can see, that I can check off, that I know what's coming along. And that can go from planner to planner with me. Now, I'm focusing on those 7 days, but everything else is already scheduled for months, for weeks, for years, and it's on all of my devices. So even if I put the paper planner away, I still have everything focused, because sometimes if you only put things in paper planners and you discard that paper planner or decide not to use it for a while, you might miss some activities. So consider where you're keeping your most important information. Let's talk about blocking. Now, schedule blocking is a great way to keep focus on a block of tasks that need to be done. Blocking out your work time and your family time will help you keep your focus on items you're working on. Now, when we go back and we look at our 168, we blocked a bunch of things together. We had so much time for our work at our office, so much time for working out, so much family time. That's already being blocked for us. So you'll see on my weekly schedule, I block out these hours. Those are my workout hours. That's for me. These are my office, These are my office hours. So what this says is that during these times, I'm at work. I am there specifically to focus on my publishing and my other business. Same thing here with my home office hours. I am in my office specifically focusing on the tasks that I put into those blocks. Family time is the same. I'm not working there. One of the things that's really good to do is to post this calendar or your blocking schedule or whatever. Let your family know this is the time I'm not to be bothered. These are my hours. I worked in the salons for years. I owned my first salon when I was 20, and I worked 12-hour days, 6 days a week, because I didn't own my blocking. I didn't own my time management. I let my clients just write their names in anywhere, which, fine, I was a busy girl. However, I didn't make any time for myself or my husband or my family or my friends. I worked all the time. However, had I had certain things marked out like this, and back then it wasn't digital, it was all on paper, but had I marked it out, it would have been marked out and nobody would have put their name in there, and it would have been my time that I work and it would have been blocked. So be very diligent with this. This is your time. Actually, I want to go back one more time. I think sometimes learning some of the stories that bring these things to life are as important. So I will never forget working on a client who was a mortgage broker, and she taught me about time blocking and being very specific about your times, and you only do these things in the times that you've blocked them out. And she told me a story about another mortgage broker who she had called, and it was probably 7 or 8 o'clock at night. Sometimes business doesn't have business hours. The woman's answering machine said, "I am currently reading to my children. It is reading time. And when this time is over, I'll return your phone call." And this has stuck with me for many, many years. I think so often, so many of us get so bogged down with not having enough time for anything and always doing our work that we forget those other things are important. And even when we make time for them, we don't obey our own rules, right? So this told me that it is as important to read to your kids at night or do the things that are important for you, and others can wait for you. And I will never forget that lesson. So when reading time was over, she got a phone call back. But how beautiful is it to be true to yourself and to what you've put down? Because you expect others to do it too, to be true to your time. So be true to your own time. That's my other soapbox moment. So let's talk about to-do lists. Don't discredit the to-do list. We have grocery lists, to-do lists, bucket lists. We have grown up on the list. Don't discredit its massive power when you're trying to manage your time. When looking at your 168 worksheet, jot down the items you need to accomplish for each task that you've given an hour. Start prioritizing items that need to be done first or have an expiration date or a deadline. Having a hard time focusing, start with some super easy tasks that can be quickly marked off. When we have a lot of marks on our to-do list, we are more persuaded to get them, or when we have a lot of marks on our to-do list, meaning we've checked some stuff off, we're more persuaded to get them all done. So let's talk about that for a minute. Let me come back in here. To-do list. Just like your planner, you might have a to-do list for every big block situation. I have a to-do list for my car wash, and I have a to-do list for my publishing house. I'm not going to put them both on the same list because then I'm mixing up my time, right? I'm going to focus on this today. I'm going to focus on publishing and on getting these books out and doing these tasks. But sometimes when I'm looking at this really long list of to-dos, I'm overwhelmed. But if I have only, don't forget to email this person or process this payment or whatever, these tiny tasks that only take a few moments, if I do those first and I get them marked off, my to-do list starts to dwindle immediately. However, if I take that big chunk, let's say I have an editorial project I'm working on, if I work on that first and it takes up my whole day, then none of the tasks completely got finished. And chances are I'm going to dive into those extra 34 hours of my week, which I don't want to do because I really want to do something better with my time. But to-do lists are great. Also, always have a running list of things that come out of your mind and just need to go down. When you're doing your planning hour, you can always dissect those and put them on the appropriate lists. How many times have you sat down at your desk, stared at your computer screen for 3 to 5 hours, and you get nothing done? That to-do list is so daunting and overwhelming, you don't even know where to start. So make it a game. Use a random number to pick a task. Draw a task out of a jar. Do the task for a set amount of time and then move on. If the task didn't get done, put it back into rotation. So this saves me some days when I just can't focus. We all have those days where you have brain fog, you don't know where to start. So choose one little task and make it fun. Have a good time with it. And sometimes if you do a random number or you pull it out of a jar, well, then you're not looking at all the tasks. You're only looking at that one that you picked. As a mother of 5, I can also tell you this is a great way to get kids to help out. They don't want to look at a to-do list either. Maybe if they have a chore that they drew and then have to go do it, it kind of is a lot better on the mind. Use a timer and keep on task. Our 168 planning, we aligned each activity to an hour. Use a timer to keep on task during the day so that you don't have to rob yourself of another important task. I grew up on the timer. My mother uses a timer. Go do this for 10 minutes and then go outside. Go read for 10 minutes and then come back inside. Those kinds of things. I use a timer all the time to make sure that I stay on those tasks. Maybe my to-do list, I know that I need to work on my emails, but emails don't need to take me so long. So maybe I only align 20 minutes out of that block for emails, and then I move on to the next task. We have timers everywhere, on our watches, on our phones, on our computers, on our microwaves. You can use a timer for anything. With all that said, I want to thank you for joining me. So let me pop back in. I sincerely hope that some of these items will resonate with you and help you to manage your time a little better, remembering that I am giving you permission to interchange them. One day, a planner will work really well for you, and you'll fill it out, and you'll carry it, and it will be your Bible. And then one day, maybe the scrap piece of paper or the back of an envelope is going to make you so productive. But here's the thing. Know how to manage your time the best by blocking it, by knowing what's expected of you in a week, by doing your 168. And then it won't matter if you're checking it off in a planner, a to-do list, or throwing a dart at a wall. I hope that these tips will help you. And again, I give you permission to continually evolve and change the way that you manage your time from day to day. But having a basic plan and knowing what's expected of you every week will help you. If you would like to connect with me outside of this workshop, best place to find me is to go to Linktree/Bernadette Marie. My links to every social media, my website, and some of my work is all there. I hope that you enjoyed this workshop and have a great summer.